Well, the red hot stove is heating up, and a potential trade between the Astros and Red Sox apparently is being talked about. JT Realmuto signed in Philadelphia. Does that mean Caratini's coming back? We're going to break it down with the Juicebox Heroes right now.
Jainel Diaz, this is Locked On Astros.
Hello and welcome to Locked On Astros, your daily Astros podcast. Here are your hosts, Eric the Man Heisman and Brett H-Town Wheelhouse Chancey.
Hey everybody, and welcome into another edition of Locked On Astros, and this is the content creator portion of our show here in the offseason. I've got PK, I've got Chris here, and we're going to introduce them here in a second. But first, we want to make sure that you make Locked On Astros your first listen on the number one sports podcast network in America. And also, we want to make sure that you join the Everydayer Club. I'll tell you more about that when we get to our commercial break. Gentlemen, Chris, PK, welcome in.
Hey, thanks for having us, man.
Well, that was in sync. Y'all are locked in. I mean, you guys can finish each other's sentences. How you doing, Chris?
Yeah, man, doing good. Well, like I said, Pete and I, we've been doing this for a little bit now, so we're kind of at the point where we're finishing each other's sentences or sandwiches, however you want to put it.
Nice. Now, PK, what sandwiches are we finishing?
Well, he's got to get the ham and cheese and mayo. That's typically the go-to. You know what I'm saying?
I hear you. Well, there are a lot of go-to things in the offseason, like you go look for a free agent, you go look for a bat, you go look for an arm. The market's been a little weird, and towards the end in our last segment, we will hit on, some big name free agents that are still out there who happen to be two of the biggest names, who happen to be former Astros. So we're going to bury that lead, and we're going to talk about there's more conversation. Now, look, we all know internet chatter doesn't always equal truth. Internet chatter doesn't always equal substantial sources or things that are actually happening, because when we think something's not going on in the clubhouse or in the front office, there are a lot of things going on. So with these ongoing discussions between fans, between pundits online, you hear that the Astros and Red Sox are talking about Isaac Paredes. And they signed Ranger Suarez today, so they're not necessarily looking for a starting pitcher, but maybe they might be looking for some pitching help. It doesn't matter to me which one of you guys goes first. What do you think the levity or the percentage chance that the Astros and the Red Sox engage in an actual trade where Isaac Paredes is the centerpiece?
All right, I'll go ahead and start. Honestly, I think it's one of those few times that it's kind of like a perfect match. It's kind of too good for them not to make the deal. Obviously, Boston needs a third baseman now that Bregman signed with the Cubs, and the Astros are dying for a legit outfielder, which the Red Sox have one too many of. We saw them try to shop Duran at the trade deadline. His name is always coming up in trade talks. Both of them have a couple years left of arbitration left, so they're both pretty team controllable. I would kind of be shocked if it doesn't get done. Like I said, the main thing is that is Dana Brown going to try to get more than what Boston's willing to give. So again, to me, it seems like too smart of a move for them not to make. I don't know. What about you, PK?
Excuse me. Yeah, I think percentage-wise, I'm feeling like a 60-40 that it would get done, right? And Chris, I agree. We've talked about it so much offline, right? Where it's Team A needs a third baseman. Team B has one. We don't have, we've got the infield locked down at the current moment, right? Paredes is young. He's controllable. His power and his swing fits Daikin just like it would fit Fenway, right? You hit it again, right? We need an outfielder, an outfielder. So at the same time, it almost feels too perfect. Right? Because I think at this point, what is it going to take for Dana Brown to let Paredes go? And what is Boston willing to give up so that we can get our outfielder and, something else to go with it, right? So I think like a 60-40, you're seeing a lot of like the talks are elevated, right? They're a little bit more serious, right? I mean, there's so much stuff out there that you read and see, and you really don't know, like what's true and what's just clickbait. You know what I'm saying? So
Right.
it's wild that like a few, not even a month ago, we were talking about, not moving Paredes, right? We need Paredes on the squad, right? He's the guy that in our lineup last season took the most pitches. He had the most consistent at bats. He was the most disciplined hitter on our team. We saw how the offense went when he got hurt, right? We also saw this guy push through his injury to come back to this squad at the end of the season to try to help us get to the postseason. So you see the heart of this guy, right? So it's gonna be interesting to see, man. I mean, in a perfect world, give me Duran. Thank you, Paredes, for the season, a little over a season and a half, right? Or a season and a half, but half a season that you had for us. We locked down our outfield, young guy, elite base running ability, base stealing, good glove, led the league in triples, I think, the last 2 seasons, right? And you've got a solidified outfield with him there, and he's controllable for 2 years.
Well, I think him as well, you have to almost be bullish on this because he is your most consistent bat from last year. Before the injury, was leading you in home runs and RBIs, sees more pitches than the entire team probably combined. And so that's a major asset that you're losing. But the conundrum that we're in is really when you look at Carlos Correa. I mean, Los's return to the Astros, although it was a great reunion for the connection between Altuve and Carlos to be reinstated, get another bobblehead for him kind of energy. Isaac Paredes, I think, garners enough value that if you have him and maybe bring somebody else into the picture, not only could they go after a Duran, or they could also get early, they could get Toll. And then you've got a pitcher. Both of those guys have a couple years of control. Now, we are saying this without 2 things being prevalent in this conversation. We are not trying to advocate that we want Paredes off this team, number one. And number 2, we're not discussing this because this is some definitive, like it's going to happen. John Morosi, Jeff Passan, these guys have discussed it. But this is what you do in the offseason. You banter about it. You go back and forth. Now, let's just say Boston gets a wild hair and says, okay, we'll do it, but you have to throw in Brian Abreu.
I think I'm going to pass on that.
It's a tough ask.
Yeah.
That's
a cool story, but I'll pass.
I like that. Good story. Yeah, no, I mean, it is. And Boston's got pieces that they could send to us. But the question is, to kind of wrap this segment up, is Paredes more valuable to this lineup? Because some of our viewers here are saying, look, why get rid of Paredes when Carlos Correa can't stay healthy for an entire season?
Well, so I guess my kind of rebuttal to that is he's at third, right? The wear and tear on his body from playing an everyday shortstop like he's played his whole career, that's now cut. I mean, he's got a smaller section of the field to cover, right? He's got the hot corner to cover. He is getting older. He has had back issues. I think him playing predominantly at third base is going to extend his career. Now, I don't know how much longer it'll extend it, but it's definitely going to extend it a lot longer being at third than it would be at his age as an everyday shortstop.
What do you think, Chris?
I mean, I pretty much agree. I mean, like I think it was big for them to move, for Correa to take the move, to accept the move to third base. I know that Paredes' injury last year. I mean, because you can kind of flip the script and say, well, Paredes got hurt last year. When Correa was here, he didn't get hurt. But I do think that the return of Carlos Correa kind of sealed the fate of Isaac Paredes. As far as you were going to need to get rid of somebody. And I'm sorry, but there's zero market out there for Christian Walker. Not trying to talk bad about him or whatever, but there's been plenty of reports saying that there's zero market for him. So, but again, like I said, if you're able to get somebody like Duran, it just checks so many boxes. It's another outfielder that we just spoke about. He's another left-handed hitter in the lineup, which you desperately need. I mean, so it's just, Isak, I appreciate it, but it is what it is.
Man, this guy PK, this guy Chris sounds like he doesn't even want Isak on the team.
Yeah. Look, man, I'm telling you, like he's straight business, man. Straight business.
Eric always does this to me. You can find him at H-Town Warrior 738. I'm joking. Well, hey, you know what? Hey, we're going to hear a word from our sponsor, and then I want you guys to tell us about your podcast, Juicebox Heroes. Tell everybody where they can find you, and then I want to get your picks for a breakout bat and a breakout pitcher for 2026. Hey, y'all, thank y'all for tuning in to the Locked On Astros. I'm H-Town Wheelhouse, and I'm here for FanDuel. The wild card round is over, and FanDuel is officially in playoff mode, just like the Houston Texans. Every game day during the NFL playoffs, FanDuel is giving customers even more ways to get in the action. And this Saturday and Sunday, you've got 2 games. You've got 2 games each day. You've got 4 games. Powerhouse possibilities. Every NFL playoff game day, FanDuel users get profit boost packs waiting for you inside the app. Each game day, the pack is loaded with multiple profit boosts you can apply to the bets you like most. You don't have to go bet things you don't want to bet. Just open your profit pack and look at those boosts. Boost those bets you like. Use your game day instincts, whether you're backing momentum, that amazing defense from the Texans, that awesome quarterback play from CJ Stroud having a comeback game because everybody's so down on him. The boosts give you more juice and bets already, instead of forcing you to just bet whatever. So make your picks when you apply the profit boost and go after bigger payouts while the playoff get rolling. So visit FanDuel.com today, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL. Grab your profit boost pack and do it on NFL game day this week. Hey, thank y'all for tuning in to Locked On Astros. Once again, we are the number one Astros podcast out there. We want you to check us out. Go to lockedonastros.supercast.com to become a member of the Everydayer Club. What does that get you? Well, I'm glad you asked. Exclusive access to our Discord server, ad-free episodes, bonus content, video breakdowns. Don't tell anybody, but I promise you, if you're an everydayer, you'll love it. Different price points for different players in the game. So thank y'all for tuning in, and make sure you go to lockedonastros.supercast.com. Hey, you know what? I've got the guys here. I've got PK. I've got Chris. They are not with all of their fellow juice boxers, and you can tell us who else is on the mic with y'all. Tell us your other hosts that you have, and then tell us what y'all do, what y'all talk about, and also where we can find your podcast.
Yeah, so our third member, his name is Bryles. And like I said, so you can find us on Facebook, on X, on TikTok. Eventually, we're going to be going ahead and rebuilding our Instagram page. And basically what we do is we go on every Thursday and every Sunday night. During the season, we'll break down basically each series. And then, we'll also get into a little bit of minor league baseball as well. We do try to spend a lot of time, looking, paying attention to what's going down in Sugar Land. Every now and then we'll dip our toes into Corpus Christi. And yeah, we're pretty much doing the same thing you guys are doing. Just, a little bit of different flair to it, and, dipping a little bit more into the minors.
Awesome. PK, tell me, what's it been like having your podcast, doing this? You've been doing it, for a while. I know you and I've talked with you guys. What do you enjoy most about doing this podcast? And why do you think people need to come hang out with you guys and check y'all's show out? Oh,
you're muted, PK.
Yeah, you're muted on your side. There you go.
There you go.
Oh,
no, he's still muted.
So that's okay. You know what? He might know. Oh, hold on. Okay, now go. Oh, he bolted. Maybe he was having technical issues.
Okay.
So Chris, why don't you go ahead and take this until PK comes back?
Yeah, so like I said, our main thing is kind of more. We do more of kind of like a water cooler kind of talk. We try not to break it down to all these super nerdy baseball stats and stuff like that. So really, if you're looking for a place to just kind of kick back, talking some Astros baseball. Have your own opinion. We welcome everybody's opinion. If any of you guys have interacted with us on any of the social media platforms, we're not wanting this. Our podcast isn't a podcast where we're going to be like, listen, our word is king, and you guys don't have an opinion. I mean, so if you guys want to kick it, talk Astros baseball, have a good time, crack some jokes, usually at my expense, then we're the podcast for you.
That's over on Back to the Bullpen. That's usually my job, is to not play heel, but be heel. I tee up stuff for Mike Stanton, and his timing's impeccable. Hopefully we'll get PK back in here soon, but while we're waiting on him, we had another content creator on last night, Evan, from the Midweek Athletes, and he gave us his picks for guys to have a breakout season. He had Jeremy Pena and Christian Javier as his guys. Go ahead and tell me who your pitcher or who your hitter is for the 2026 season.
Well, I'm going to have to go ahead and agree with him as far as for a pitcher wise, I'm going to say Christian Javier. I mean, for me personally, him coming back from Tommy John last season, I really didn't expect too much. I pretty much kind of expected the part that he came back was more of kind of like an extended spring training for him, kind of get his rhythm back, his mechanics back. But I really do think that now that he's going to have the half season of last season, an entire spring training to get ready, I really do think he's going to return to that form that we saw him before he got hurt. So, and that's going to make this rotation extremely nasty with Hunter Brown, Christian Javier, and then you have Imai as well. And then there's so many other players. Like I have high expectations for Burrows as well. I really see him as one of those steals that, not saying he's going to be exactly like Garrett Cole, but I see that as a potential Garrett Cole as steal. So I just think my pick is going to be Javier breaking out to his the old school Javier that we've all, saw and we all love with.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that would be phenomenal. I think for me, my breakout pitcher, I want to go with Imai, but since he hasn't pitched in the major leagues, I think anything he gives us that is in the positive, I think is a plus. I think if he solidifies himself as a really good find, then you can do your job and do your bidding going back to the playoffs and talking him into staying and not just opting out and going elsewhere. Money talks and it walks. So maybe that's a major factor. But I'll tell you this, for 2026, I really would like Yordan Alvarez to have a breakout season, just staying healthy. But I want to push him aside because I really think there is some credence. I was talking to someone today. We were in a discussion, one of my friends on X, about free agents and when they move clubs and when they're real comfortable somewhere and they have a lot of success and they go somewhere. And this person was really convinced that Christian Walker struggled mentally because of just everything that was new. Now you can say, well, he's a grown man and he's a veteran and he shouldn't. Well, this is a big move for anybody. And apparently he was struggling with all the adjustments he was trying to make. This year, if he settles in and he swings a hot bat starting out, a Christian Walker could be very, very valuable because that second half Christian Walker, if he was full season Christian Walker like that, I think the sky's the limit for our first baseman.
No, I agree. And I think a lot of it there was a lot of pressure put on him by, I'm pretty sure himself, but I think the fans as well, because of what he had to replace the year before at first base. So, and again, it's easy. And at times I catch myself doing this as well. Just it's easy to beat up on the guy that's struggling. And again, we're not there. We don't know what he's doing every single day, with the club as far as like his preparations and stuff like that. So I think that's a very valid argument to make, that coming over to a new team, looking at the high expectation that he's supposed to be the savior at first base after, the debacle that we had the year prior. And maybe, like I said, maybe he'll bounce back, this season now that he's settled in, he knows the expectations, and maybe the changing of the hitting coaches will, help him out as well.
Yeah, definitely. I want to kind of wrap this up and get into a little bit of Victor Caratini talk and, talk about some former Astros that are still out there to be signed. I would like to get your opinion on it. We're going to take a short break, and then I want to talk about the Everydayer Club before we move forward.
Let's go.
Hey guys, welcome into Locked On Astros. We want to thank you so much for being a part of the show. We want to thank you for joining us. I mean, this is a privilege to be on this mic every single day, and you've helped make Locked On Astros the top Astros podcast on the planet, and you've also helped rocket the Locked On Podcast Network to become the #1 sports podcast network. And if you haven't been able to check out the Everydayer Club, it's amazing. Access to ad-free audio from Locked On Astros, compatible with Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and every other major podcast app. An invite to members-only Locked On Everydayer Club Discord server, which includes a group chat just for listeners of this show. We'll be hanging out. You can talk to us. We'll hype you up. You also have access to subtext where you'll be able to text us. We'll get messages. We're going to have bonus content on there, bonus videos. I'm going to break down videos throughout the season. And if you go to lockedonastros.supercast.com, you can sign up today. Make sure that you check it out and become a part of the Everydayer Club. It's an exclusive, fun ride only offered here at Locked On Astros. So, hey, thank y'all for tuning in. So I just want to make sure PK his house didn't, like something.
No.
Is he good?
No, he messaged me and he said they just lost all internet. So
wow.
I guess it's going to be you and I kicking it the rest of the episode.
Well, it's probably the friggin' Yankees is what I'm just going to blame it on the Yankees, right? How's that?
I like it. I like it. You ain't going to get no stuff from me.
Well, you know what? Well, send him my regards. I appreciate him coming on the show. So let's go into this last segment. Victor Caratini, I think, remains a realistic target. Okay. JT Realmuto is a veteran catcher that they say all signals are pointing to Philadelphia. I've had no illusions of him leaving Philly, a 3-year deal. He's going to be kind of expensive, even though he's a little long on the tooth. He's a reliable guy. But Caratini comes back. Let's just say he comes back. Does he make this team better coming back to this club? And the second question is, do the Astros have it in the cards to be able to pay him?
Well, I think we'll have to reverse the questions first. I think the big question first is, do the Astros have the money in the cards to pay him? So he just came off of a 2-year, $12 million deal, so that's $6 million a year. The big thing, honestly, I think what's going to plan their next move is what they're going to do with Paredes. We talked earlier about the arbitration numbers. He wanted $9.3 million. The Astros were like, yeah, we're not going to pay you that. We have not been able to find anything on what the Astros offered Paredes. So
right.
I think the last thing that I read that they were $10 million now underneath the CBT. I mean, that could have updated by then.
Yeah, they're $10 million.
I don't think Caratini's going to come back for the same money he was making last season, especially for the 2 years that he gave us. I'm thinking that's going to be a little bit more towards the $8 million range right there. I mean, so if they keep Paredes, I kind of don't see it happening. If they end up trading Paredes, but again, too, I think Duran's making $7.7 million. So I think we're kind of. I just don't see it in the cards if they. Regardless, that's kind of where I'm at money-wise, unless they're willing to go over.
Do you think him being at the Rockets game the same day that Tatsuya Imai was at the Rockets game, do you think that was just a coincidence? Do you think he was in town, maybe working out the pitcher? You know what I'm saying? I mean, that happened, and everyone's like, is that Victor Caratini? And everybody confirmed I was there. It was Victor Caratini. It wasn't his doppelganger.
I mean, it very well could be. I mean, like maybe him seeing the buzz of Imai coming in, maybe that's kind of turned him around. Because I mean, he's kind of. I mean, I can't remember how old he is, but I know he's 30 something. So he's kind of like on that back end of his career. Maybe, like I said, maybe seeing the impact, the buzz around Imai coming in. Maybe he's kind of rethinking. I could do 6 if they give me 6. You know what? I'll do 5. But again, we'll see.
Yeah, exactly. Now there are people and some people saying here that they think a backup catcher paying more than $6 million is a little too much. Like it's a little too rich for some fans' bloods. $8 million, $10 million for a backup catcher. Look, you're going to have this revolving carousel of Walker, Paredes, Caratini, Altuve, Alvarez, all these guys in here, Carlos Correa, and it's like, who plays where? Musical chairs. It's almost like they have to set up chairs in the locker room and play musical chairs to see who's going to start that game. And that's why I think trades are almost inevitable to happen. But you have to offload the right trades and the right personnel and get something back that's going to help you, because you don't want to end a trade week in your club.
No, I agree. And like, I think from what they kind of, the Astros kind of put out, you're going to see multiple different lineups throughout the season. And, from what I've read, I've seen people that are like, hey, cool, as long as you can fit everybody in, then I've also seen people that are like, well, where's the consistency in the lineups? Which, I understand both sides of the argument. Unfortunately, with if this Paredes deal is made and you're bringing in a guy like Duran, the money is going to kind of wash itself. So you're pretty much in the starting position. You're in the same position that you went into the trades with, unless for some reason they don't go Duran, they go Rafaela, where he's a little bit cheaper.
Right.
So, but again, like if you decide to make this trade and the last piece of the puzzle is your backup catcher, you can bring in Caratini on a 1-year deal. After this season, McCullers is a free agent. I would assume that if Imai goes off the way that everybody's excited he will, it's going to take a lot to keep him. So what I'm saying is you have money coming off the books after this season. So if you want to splurge a little bit for backup catcher, and I don't think Caratini was really a backup catcher. He was more of like a utility player. But then again, you have the Astros, on one hand saying Dubon's $7 million is too expensive for a utility guy. And then essentially you pay Sanchez $7 million, who's essentially going to be a platoon guy. So it's like, it's kind of back and forth. I've had that discussion on our show. I've had plenty of discussions about it, on TikTok and Facebook about it. So, if that's the last move, go and get it done. Just get it done.
So the only thing, people mention, Rob here in the chat has mentioned, he says, well, the CBT will reset and go away after the new CBA. I understand that. But if you go over the CBT this year, that's 3 years in a row. And in your third year, every dollar after that threshold is taxed at 50%. People are like, but Crane's a billionaire. He's got money, right? Crane's not exactly sitting on a pile of money. Just because someone's a billionaire doesn't mean they have liquid assets. This is a business, and he has run this team, I think, very well. Although people say he's a baseball guy, he's not a baseball guy, right? But, he played in college. So what Crane does is he puts smart people in the right positions. He puts people that know what they're doing. Now, some people will question their judgment, whether it's Joe Espada, Dana Brown, Snitker, Dusty Baker. If the Astros aren't successful, it's always, well, this person made this decision or this person did that. But before we wrap up, what are your thoughts? Since you're here, you're visiting our show. What are your thoughts on Kyle Tucker? 2-year deal with $50+ million AAV with the Mets. Framber Valdez unsigned. Ranger Suarez signed today. And he signed, and I think probably more than likely Framber Valdez gets more and is probably happy that Suarez only got 130 because, Framber Valdez is say, I have a World Series and I'm worth a lot more. Like, look at my numbers. I've got 2 all-star selections. He only has 1, and so on and so forth. Where do you think Kyle Tucker lands, and where do you think Framber Valdez lands, both former Astros?
Kyle Tucker's going to be a little bit harder to predict because I don't really know if he's looking for the long-term deal. Of course, all the players are looking for a long-term deal.
Right.
But like you're seeing a lot of these guys make moves, make trades, sign free agents. I honestly, if I had to put my money right now, I'm saying he's going to probably take the short term. Maybe there's opt-outs after every year. I think he'll take the 2-year deal with the Mets and then not make the playoffs.
Yeah, exactly. See, I've always thought that Tucker was going to go somewhere like Toronto. I just think Toronto has the money. I don't think they're re-signing Bichette. I have no idea where Bichette lands. But I think Framber Valdez is, I did have him pinned in Baltimore, But
Yeah, that's where I had him.
I think the Giants, though, make a lot of sense. The Giants, can you imagine injecting him with Logan Webb, Robbie Ray, and Framber Valdez, a 1-2-3? That's a formidable opponent against your division rival, Los Angeles Dodgers.
No, I agree. And like I think when we did our intro to the offseason predictions, I think one of the teams I had Fromber going to, I think I had the Mets or the Dodgers, or not the Dodgers, but the Giants, just because they've been trying to make a splash for the last few seasons. They did sign Arson Judge for like 3 days, and then that didn't work out. They had Correa for like 2 days, and then that didn't work out. So, yeah, I mean that's a good young rotation. You'd have Fromber, you'd have, like you said, you'd have Logan Webb, Robbie Ray. You still got up and coming Hayden Birdsong that's coming up on that team too. I mean, but I thought he was going to be a shoo-in for Baltimore, but Baltimore's just spending all this money. I don't know where they got all this money from, but he could be another piece for Toronto. I know Toronto's been courting Kyle Tucker, like they're trying to take him to prom. So, man, I guess we'll see, man. We'll see.
Yeah, I get it, man. I mean, if the shoe fits, wear, right? I mean, he may be Cinderella at the ball for them. Well, hey, this has been a great Locked On Astros content creator special edition. I appreciate you joining us once again. Let the people know where they can find you, sir. And do they need to subscribe to your show? Let us know.
Yeah, so you can find us on Facebook, you can find us on X, you can subscribe to us on YouTube, Juicebox Heroes. We're also on TikTok, Juicebox Heroes. And before we go, I just want to let everybody know that the Juicebox Heroes would not be entering season 3 if it wasn't for the tutelage of this man right here, Brett. We had him on our show, and he was awesome. He came in, and at first we thought he was only going to do 30 minutes. He stayed the whole hour with us, and then he stayed another hour afterwards. I mean, we're a couple of schmucks. We didn't know what we were doing. And he was like, yeah, y'all need to do this. Y'all need to do that. I mean, so the fact that we're as far along as we are is a big thank you to Brett. So Brett, again, he doesn't just talk the talk, the man walks the walk. So again, Brett, thank you. You're a big reason why we're still here doing what we're doing.
Man, I appreciate it. I wasn't expecting that. I'm a bit overwhelmed and humbled by that. So, look, I take what I do seriously. I love this show. I love this team. And I love our followers. And hopefully a lot of our followers will migrate over to y'all's show, because, look, you can never have too much Astros baseball. I want to thank y'all for tuning in to the Locked On Astros podcast. Make sure you tune in. The next time we get together, maybe we're talking about a trade that's made. Maybe we'll talk about the landing spot or the permanent spot for these Houston Astros. Make sure you check out lockedonastros.supercast.com. Never miss an episode. The Everyday Air Club is built for you. You can get Locked On Astros ad-free, plus members-only Discord access and more. Head to lockedonastros.supercast.com to join the club. For those of you on video, we send you to the first ever 24/7 National Locked On Podcast Network YouTube channel. On audio, make sure you make your second listen Locked On MLB. Y'all have a good one, and we are out.